The ModernJeeper Show, the show about Jeeps, Jeeping, and Jeepers.
Well, hey, Modern Jeepers, this is another episode of the ModernJeeper Show with me, Matson from MetalCloak, and Mr. Modern Jeeper, Corey Osborne.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, and Rockstar Jeep Girl, Jessy.
Hi.
Hi, you're you guys are ghosting in and out there. You're playing with all the different filters.
Yeah, so, we always use Safari, and Safari isn't very well supported by dial pad meetings now. So
You could have ended that session as Safari isn't very well supported, period. Then we've been like, okay, done.
Come on, I'm a Safari guy. I like Safaris. I mean, it's just naturally the Jeep thing, right? It's we like Safaris.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's true because I use Chrome, and I guess Jeepers really don't like Chrome. It's kind of a 1970s thing, huh?
Chrome doesn't get you home.
He's been full of the dad jokes lately. Just saying.
I like it. And
so
anyway, you guys you're using Chrome, so now you're experimenting with backgrounds.
Yeah, so now we got backgrounds, and of course, every time there's a color that matches the background, like my hand, I can make disappear. We can do magic tricks.
Well, it has to have contrast, and if you actually were to take your background off, that whole section over there on that side is just bright white from the sun. So
right.
Yeah, it doesn't like the contrast. I was pointing out earlier, I do have new art though. See, I got new Hobby Lobby. Way to go, guys! Right there, Jeep.
Don't advertise.
I love that one. What do you mean don't advertise?
So Jessy has a theory that whenever something shows up on whatever it is, Pinterest or whatever from Hobby Lobby, and it's Jeep related, literally, if she goes to Hobby Lobby, they're gone. They're sold out.
Aw.
Because everybody tells everybody, and then everybody goes.
Well, then you got to be ahead of the curve.
Montrose is getting a Hobby Lobby.
Yeah,
I'm like, time. Y'all are taking too long. Come on.
You just like half of you just disappeared. Yeah. But so I've got that one, and that one's cool because it says you don't have to drive a Jeep 4x4, but you'd be cooler if you did.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Did that look really good on camera? I should have had it written down here if I was professional. And then this one just says, this one's another Jeep one. It says Jeep Explore More, but it's right above my copy of the Rubicon map that we have out here. We had a bunch. You guys got one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Where'd you put it?
It's in our living room.
In the living room. Nice.
Yep.
Did you put a nice big ornate frame around it?
I haven't framed it yet. It's
with one of those little museum lights hanging down.
Well, actually, it's done so well, and it's like on a canvas, so just free floating, it actually looks pretty good.
Free floating. Oh, is that a song? I don't know. There you go. There's for our next guest. That's a new little trigger for one of the songs. Speaking about triggers, what's our trigger for a drinking game?
Our trigger for our drinking game, since this has a little bit to do with our guest, of course, and Jessy's actually wearing one of the shirts from our guest, so we're gonna go with Jeep Girl.
Nice. I like it. So that says a lot about our guest, which we'll get to in a moment. But before we start talking about our guest and about Jeep Girls, what the heck have you guys been doing?
I've got a list of, I've got so much that I've wanted to talk about for the last couple of weeks. As a lot of our followers know, we were out we went to a winter 4x4 out in St. George in Hurricane in Utah a couple weeks ago. That kind of started our trip. We, a great 4-day event, a lot of people, a lot of CTI, a lot of Jessy and I getting sick. And,
I saw
really
people that got sick.
Yeah. And when a Jeep girl gets sick, it's just not that much fun. We then proceeded to stay in a hotel room for 6 days and do nothing but sit in a hotel room for 6 days.
Was that at least a nice hotel room?
It was okay. I slept a lot.
Being sick in a hotel isn't that great, especially when there's a this whole COVID thing going around and all that. And anyways,
you don't get anybody to come in and toss your sheets and make
I
the
stared
bed
out
for
the
you.
window at the mountains that I didn't get to go play in.
Yeah, it was kind of horrible. We ended up we had a CTI event, an open house in Las Vegas with our friends at American Off Road, Jonathan and his group, and we kind of sucked it up, and we went and we had a great day. Did an open, spent about 3 days going into Death Valley National Park and pre-running some of the trails for our upcoming trip that's taking place the 1st of March.
1st of March, that's 1 month away, guys.
Yeah, 1 month. And, I got to tell you, for the folks that have been sick, and whether it's the flu, a cold, Omicron, whatever you want to call it, this is like 3 weeks now of just not having any energy. And, we've all had those days where we don't get up, we don't want to get out of bed. Well, I'm working on like the 3rd week of I don't want to get out of bed. It's just dumb. It's the getting tired. Your brain is still going 100 miles an hour, but literally I go out to the garage and I walk around in the garage a couple of laps in there going, oh, I'm going to get this done and this done. And I'm exhausted. And I come back inside and I sit and I just stare at things like, wow.
Do you have your appetite back though?
Not really.
It's still not all the way back.
No.
I weighed myself, which I usually don't do.
So you said you weighed yourself, you disappeared. It's like,
I know. I'm gone.
I weighed myself.
I think it was I was 7 pounds. I lost 7 pounds when I was sick.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat nothing. Nothing sounded good.
My mom and my stepfather are really just her husband, however you want to label them. They had it for about 2 weeks and it delayed them going to Florida, but they're actually like in someplace in Texas. It might actually be in Louisiana by now as they're driving out to Florida because she's moving out there. But yeah, he lost probably like 20 pounds and he didn't have 20 pounds to lose. I mean, he just like, but that and he could eat, like he never lost his appetite, but he's the guy who can get up in the morning and just wants like bacon and sausage and eggs and potatoes and everything, right? But he still lost weight. Yeah,
it's really interesting. We have a lot of stuff going on. We have some really good things coming up. And we have, all the stuff on my list here that I wanted to talk about, and we'll get to those throughout the month and in other podcasts and stories. I want to talk a little bit about the National Park Service and where we're headed as far as how expensive it is. And that'll be in an upcoming Modern Jeeper story. I think it's unfortunate that these are our national parks and you better be prepared. If you have a family of 4 and you want to go to one of our national parks, it's going to be expensive. Ridiculous. And whether it's the hotel, it's food, it's gas, whatever it is. And we'll talk about that later.
Well, you can instead of going to a park, you just mint. There's a national park NFT. You can just mint an NFT and make money there.
Yeah, there you go.
Instead of spending money in a national park. No, but you're right. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, travel is becoming a little bit more expensive. Just even in this last few weeks, we're kind of like scratching our head a little bit, going, "Wow, what happened over the course of the last year?" I don't know. There's a lot going on. KOH is taking place right now. We're not there, which we're typically out at King of the Hammers, enjoying the wonderful weather.
I really don't want to be sick again for a while.
Yeah.
You guys got sick after last year. Didn't you get sick after last year's KOH?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that because everybody knows I got 4 screens up there. And if you don't know, I've got my 4 screens, and right now I've got one screen that's just about our upcoming guest. But I've got right now as we're recording this, guys, it's 2:00 in the afternoon on Tuesday, and the Everyman Challenge qualifying rounds are going on. So if I keep looking up that direction, it's because I'm being distracted by cool cars racing out on the track.
Qualifying.
By the way, guys, the $35, if you're at home, the $35 to sign up for the premium package is well worth it because you don't get any ads. Ads are only small. You get to actually see stuff. It's cool when they're off air, they're really still on air. So it's totally worth it. And I didn't even it just automatically renewed this year. I went, okay, cool. So $35, you get to watch everything and see all the cool stuff. Otherwise you can watch it for free. You just have to deal with their advertising.
There's no Jeep Girl ads though.
I know there should be. Heck, they should have had. They got a stage out there. They should have had our guest out there.
Yeah, right.
Right. Those other guys. Although maybe it needed to be like a Ford girl. The way the Ultra 4 is going, it's less about Jeeps and more about Broncos now. Broncos and Fords.
Who's writing bigger checks? That's all it really comes down to.
UTV, there were Yamaha, Honda was out there big time for the UTV. I mean, it was just and look, the title sponsor is Progressive, right? I mean,
well, we know.
it's a different world.
Yeah, and how many lines in the advertising of each individual event is Dave going to let this thing go to? Like, we're going to have like a full paragraph of sponsors of this sponsored of this race.
Right. The Progressive, sponsored by Nitto, powered by Opt. You know what, dude? If they're writing checks,
who cares, right?
When I don't know what he had to do this year. Remember last year he spent over $800,000 just on consultants to make sure he could do an event with COVID still going on. So
that's right.
More power to him. The checks they're writing out now for their guys, like the EFI Challenge last night. I didn't watch any of it, but I heard it was pretty cool. And a couple of the rigs that actually made it all the way to the top, I think, were both built by our friend Jessy Haynes.
Yep, both Jessy's chassis.
Yeah, and they got an extra. They got bonus checks for doing that. I mean, it's cool that the money is flowing, right?
Right.
And I'm fine with that. I think it's awesome because then all these guys have been putting all this effort into it for years. I actually have a chance of making a living doing this stuff.
Well, I will throw out before we get our guests going. Also look for on ModernJeeper.com. The EPA had a new ruling in December regarding new requirements for pollution, and they're now saying that 40 miles per gallon required by 2026. These rules get implemented next year. The 2023 model years will be required to be at 40 miles per gallon. Hang on. We've been talking about electric vehicles for a long time now, but nobody seems to care or think anything about it.
I think there's a couple of executives at Volkswagen that could start a consulting business on the side.
Right?
How to get your numbers. You too, with a little bit of this and a little bit of that, you too could be at 40 miles a gallon.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah. I what does that all mean? Is that the end of the 392? And that means we end up having everybody's driving V6 turbos instead of V8s. I don't know.
Well, even the current models don't qualify. So so long, like it's going to be different.
Well, here's one of those things that quiet. I mean, it's already six figures to buy a 392. We don't need it to go up anymore in price. No. Aaron wants one. He can't find one.
There was actually a pretty decent article written by a gentleman that's involved in the oil and gas industry. He said, well, you know what they're just pushing for. And he says that we will get there. Fuel will be $20 a gallon.
Wow.
Lord help us.
I've seen that in at least a couple dystopian movies, but that's fine. I just watched Ultraviolet again for the other day, just because of the opening scene where everybody's going from wearing, we got a little bit of a sickness, to wearing masks, to all of a sudden the health officials being in charge of the country. We never heard that.
We watched some interesting stuff too.
Yeah.
Wow.
Again,
why it's like a train wreck. You just have
it's just a train wreck. Yeah.
It is. So anyway, what's coming up on your schedule? Then we'll get to our guests.
We've got some more pre-running that we're going to try to get done. We have this huge storm that's supposed to be coming today and for the next couple of days. So, go get your bread and milk now, because you're not going to be able to go to town.
And toilet paper.
Yeah. So if we get a bunch of snow, it's going to really kind of put a damper on some of the stuff we're doing in the next couple of weeks. But we have some cool things coming up as far as modifications as we get ready for Death Valley. New trip information coming out. We've got to rewrap trucks and things like that with new logos and new dated stuff, and we have new canopies and flags, and so we're it's that planning process time of year.
Yeah.
And it doesn't help when you walk out to your yard. So I got a bunch of things to do today. No, I don't.
Yeah. I'll do those tomorrow.
No, I'll do them tomorrow. Yeah, your tomorrows keep adding up. Trust me, I'm that guy. The honeydew list. I had all this big plan this weekend, and I wrenched my back playing at the park with my kids on Friday, which meant the honeydew list didn't get done on Saturday, which meant I couldn't go up in the snow on the Jeep. I didn't get permission to leave on Sunday because I still had honeydew to do. So, the honeydew to do. Yeah, so there's all kinds of good stuff. But hey, we're looking forward to it. It's gonna be a great month out here. We've got let's see, Winter Fun Fest coming up, and on the 25th of this month. They had to move it from last month when there was too much snow. Now it's going to be when there's no snow, because right now if you try to go out to the Rubicon, it's that great icy layer
Yeah.
with 2 feet of powder underneath, so you go and then you get a lot of pulling out. So
well, I think that our guest is going to have a really busy season ahead of him.
Yes. Oh, he already has, hasn't he? Well, you want to introduce him? Let me
I'm gonna let Jeep Girl here introduce him.
Oh, that's right.
Jeep Girl, huh?
Yeah, we haven't said Jeep Girl enough, have we?
Well, being from Oklahoma, I still go there frequently and see friends, family, and of course I still support a lot of local artists, and he's actually an awesome Jeep guy too. And I was in his music video, and along with a lot of Texas girls. And so I'm going to introduce Jeremy Rowe.
Hey, Jeremy, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Jeremy Rowe, musician, country artist, and the man behind the Jeep Thang. I had to go back last night and watch everything over again, right?
Right.
So have the Jeep Thang and the Jeep Girl, and now the upcoming Jeep. Was it Jeep Family?
Jeep Off-Road
Family.
Jeep, the Off-Road Family. So you see, you're expanding your horizons. You're trying to include some Bronco guys.
We actually, I met Jeremy for the first time when we were in Smoky Mountain for Jeep Invasion, and had him out there for the one of the opening nights at the Hard Rock there in Pigeon Forge. And what a treat, man. I mean, like, number one, it's so cool to even just know this guy, and then to watch him and watch how he interacts with all these Jeepers. He's a Jeep enthusiast at heart, yet he's done a lot of things. He's also a real estate agent and a Jeeper and a singer, and so many things.
Wait. Real estate agent? Is that
yeah.
Nice. How long have you been doing real estate?
Almost a year. So not too long, but long enough to claim the title, I guess.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But obviously music is that your soul? Music, is that your core?
It is. It's the passion, and right now it's what's taking all the time. So
nice.
Real estate's kind of taking one of those friends and family back seats.
Nice.
Exploded real quick, so.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's got a busy schedule, and I think that I should have the title of agent, because I get so many messages from people. Hey, Jeremy Rowe, do you think he'll come to this show? Do you think he'll come? I'm like, I don't know.
Okay, that's okay. You need to get yourself a little headset, right? Little headset. Start playing the agent role. Like, that's that.
Show me the money.
He wants 20% of gate. That's it. 20% of gate minimum we'll take, right? 10% of the bar.
I'm gonna write that down.
20% of the gate, 10% of the bar, and a nice big giant tip jar.
Yep.
Yeah, there you go.
Notes.
Biggest tip jar you can find.
So Jeremy, talk about how this started, how music became, and yeah.
Well, like most people that get inspired to be musicians, through usually like a breakup. That's usually kind of what people connect with. And while I did grow up singing in choirs, my mom was a singer, I didn't start writing music until after my first big breakup. So 2018, late 2018, I got a divorce, and that's sparked my first single, Gone. And then from there, I just kept writing more songs, and people started showing up to hear me and kind of, telling me that they believed in me and thought I could really do something. So, I let that just kind of fuel me, and kept writing more songs, trying to get better at songwriting. And then it wasn't too long. I was playing, a bunch of cover gigs, playing all my favorite old country 90s tunes. And then I wrote Jeep Thang, because my wife and I were taking a trip, and we were already talking about getting a Jeep. I grew up around Jeeps, and never thought I'd own one but we were talking about getting one, and we got to our destination. I said, I wonder if there's any Jeep songs out there. That'd be kind of cool. And I went and looked, and I found a few, but I thought, it's time for a new one. So I wrote Jeep Thang, and then just got thrusted into the Jeep community, which is way larger than I knew, and I'm still learning just how big it is. But that's kind of what started it, and played a few shows last year, and nobody had a clue who I was, and that was kind of cool because I still get my feet wet, and now it's exciting to be kind of booked for some of those same things, and people are excited to see me coming back this year. So that's kind of how it started. And I met Taylor Marie Wagner. She's my co-writer on Jeep Girl. She called me up after hearing Jeep Thang on Facebook or YouTube or something like that, and she's a Jeeper out of Nashville. And she said, "Hey, do you want to co-write with me?" I'm like, "Heck yeah!" So when we started talking about what to write, I already had Jeep Girl kind of kicking around in my head, and thought, why not write a song about Jeep girls? So it was perfect to write one with a Jeep Girl.
Nice.
How many drinks is that? That's a lot.
Boys, you're gonna have fun today.
Yeah, y'all better
That's
catch
awesome.
up, man. I don't know. It's a good thing I'm drinking water.
Yeah, we just do it for others. We have to stay sober, also it gets really silly really fast. So that's awesome. That's awesome. So you wrote that one, and that's kind of where, I got acquainted with you when you were going off to Smoky Mountain, and all of a sudden Jesse and Corey are like, "Hey, this guy, he's going to be doing this stuff," and so we did what we could to support that, and that was cool. And then of course the video coming out for Jeep Girl, and I really like how you're crowdsourcing a little bit of what you're doing here. Like if you go to we'll talk about it a little bit so you can talk more about it, but getting the group to come together and the Jeep community come to help you support your ability to do recording. And I love that little piece on watching your site where it's like, this is what it sounded like when I was, when I did it myself. And this is what it sounds like when you do it professional in the studio. And it's like, wow, huge difference. So it's really awesome that you're not only giving to that community, but you're also, the community supporting you. I mean, it's what inspired you to start doing that? Was it just the community all of a sudden blew up around you, or what?
Yeah, and I just had a crazy idea one day, and I think a lot of creatives, we have a million thoughts a day, and then maybe one or two stick, and you try to run with it. And I had that thought, one day after we finished writing Jeep Girl, like, man, I just put Jeep Thang out there. That was expensive. So I was trying to think, how I could go about getting that one recorded. And I thought, you know what? I had at the time somewhere around 13,000 followers or something like that. And I did some math, which I'm not very good at, but I thought, if X amount of people give me $1, literally just $1, then I'll be able to go record this thing. And so I just put it out there, just a little graphic of me, like, hey, will you help me get to the studio with it for $1? And so many people, from the Jeep community and beyond, showed up and gave me $1, $3, $5. I think the biggest contributor was $300. I'm like,
wow,
goodness, incredible. So we were at goal in just 2 weeks, I think, on that one.
Wow.
And I thought, well, this is amazing. So, with Off-Road Family, I thought, well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I'll ask again. And tried to get a little bit better at my ask. Jeep Girl was just a photo of me with, I'm decent in Photoshop, so I made up a little graphic. And then with Off-Road Family, I thought, what, this would be cool. One of those fleeting ideas, but that one happened to stick. I said, I should show them, what Jeep Girl sounded like with my terrible bedroom recording versus what the studio could do. And people seem to like that. And I think we were funded for that one in 6 days.
Wow.
With Jeep Thang and Jeep Girl got a little bit more of a following and more people to ask. And so, and I tried to more than just say, hey, thank you for your money. here's a song now. With that one, I set up some tiers. You know, if you give X amount, this is what I'm gonna do for you in return. And so just trying to get a little bit better at the whole craft. You know, there's a lot that goes into it, but I think that's probably what I'm going to just keep doing. The next step is to do an EP, you know, so that's going to be, you know, 4 or 5 songs on, I think it's like an EP is greater than 30 minutes, but less than an hour or something like that, less than 10 songs. I don't remember how it's broke down. But I want to, you know, show people some more songs, you know, outside of the off-road and the Jeep community, you know, some of the things that I've done.
I don't know if a lot of people really understand that it takes money to create and be able to provide people music. And I think people just think, this is so cool. Like, this was a great song and it got played somewhere and all of a sudden the guy makes millions of dollars. Like, I don't think people have a real good understanding that it's hard. It's work.
Well, it is. And I mean, we hear stories like back in the day, right? I remember Master P had like a $10,000 inheritance, and he decided to go print his own CDs and did his own stuff, did it all himself, and sold it out of the back of his trunk. Like, he crossed the country selling all the back of his truck, but he owned it, right? And the beautiful thing about today's world, and as you see, there's so many avenues now for you as an artist to get your music out and to be able to own it, right? You know, whether it's guys like Tom McDonald, right? Tom McDonald, very controversial, whatever, you know, you like him or you don't like him, he's a white rapper, but he owns everything because he found an avenue to do it and to do it himself. It's totally cool how you're doing, especially with this, you know, outsourcing it to these people and really just doing, I mean, you're doing it on your own platform. You're not even using another platform to raise the money. You're sitting here. Right. It is. You go to his website, jeremyrowe-music.com/off-road-family, off-road-family. And there's the project, right? And it's a complete breakdown. It's totally open. This is what I'm going to use the money for. This is what I need for be able to get it all done. $300 goal. And with here's, you know, tiers, you get one-time gifts, right? All this stuff. Now, I do like your ambition here, whether it's $1, $1,000 or $1 million, it all helps. Great, appreciate. I honestly think you need to do like so I did a little crowdsourcing early on, and one of my favorites was a company that was making they were basically, it was hand knitted bottle warmers, like just a bottle koozie, but it was hand knitted. Cool. And they were living out of their Volkswagen bus. They had a $5,000 level on their Kickstarter campaign. For $5,000, they would come to your town and do a grilled cheese sandwich party. Like, that was the cool, nice. And a couple of people took them up on it, right? They just drove to the town and they did a grilled cheese sandwich party with some beer. But, you know, I take it to the next level with these, right? Just do something crazy like that and build it up. Like, yeah,
that's awesome.
You know, I will film a video in your backyard, whatever, you know, just have fun.
That's cool. Well, I tell you, so when Jessy and I, Jessy was invited to go down to Disney, and when he was like, you know, I want to create this video, and I'm like, you know, that's for us, even from here, that's kind of a drive, but you know what? I mean, it's good visibility for us. I always look at things. I have to qualify everything in my mind, you know, to make it make sense. If I'm taking the MetalCloak truck and trailer somewhere, I have to make sure that there's some kind of a value attached to it. And okay, how many people are we going to get to be in front of, and who's going to see it? But we get down there and it's such a cool thing, because it was like, you just had a bunch of friends down there, and it was everybody knew each other. And there you are standing out in people that haven't been to Disney, Oklahoma don't understand the wheeling down there anyway, but literally we're in the middle of a wash. And the first time I'd ever seen that wash, it was super underwater. Like, we were out on rocks that, you know, you're out there with your guitar and a couple of dudes with cameras, and we're creating a video. And I'm like, wow, this is it's so real. And I think that's what kind of reaches so many people, is it's not this produced weird, nobody knows each other, we've got all these rules, and this is how we just took pictures and we had a great day, and then you created a video from it. pretty
So
cool.
you realize I just had an idea that
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
we're gonna have to commission you once you're done with your current project to write a song for ModernJeeper.
There you go.
like
The
it.
ModernJeeper. What is the ModernJeeper? We're gonna have to commission to do a ModernJeeper piece,
Not a
and
bad-
we'll
Cool.
video it. We'll have to do the whole thing, and then we'll have a ModernJeeper theme song.
There you go.
Theme
Theme
song.
On my thing-a-thong. But
Well,
it's so cool that you can you out there doing it. I mean, so let's go back a little bit because you're talking about Jeep. So you own a Jeep now, right?
I do, yeah.
What do you own?
Got a 2017 JKU. It's Chief Blue, and I was resistant at first, but I love it now.
Resistance is futile. Just
Yeah.
let it go. Just go with the go.
Yeah.
Go.
I was like totally looking for a black or a silver, and
Yeah.
we showed up to look at a black one. It had just been sold from under me. And then I thought, so I said, well, let's see the silver one then. And the sweet lady goes to get the silver one and comes back and says it's got about 2 inches of water in it. Somebody didn't put the top back on right. And I was like, oh my goodness. I said, well, I guess we're going to see the blue one. And then, she brought it around. I'm like, dear Jesus, that thing is loud. It's so
Blue. Yeah.
Oh, come on. You're a musician. You're a creator. You need to be loud and proud.
Oh, man.
Yep.
We drove in. I think we were 2 miles down the road, and I was like, "Man, this is nice. I'm sold. So let's get it." So we got it, and now I love it because you look in the parking lot and you can always find it real fast.
Yes.
Yeah, and the guy who has the orange JT understands that.
Yeah.
Nobody else. It's like, oh, there.
Yeah.
Hey, where's the truck? There it is. Yep.
But then you can't hide.
Yeah.
You can't hide either. I mean, everybody's honking at me.
Yep.
Jeep Wave. Yep.
That's
there's
right.
there's another title song for you, the Jeep Wave. So that's you got to do it.
Yeah. On my
Jeep
list.
Wave. Well, again, you're
I've
getting
got
that
the
off-road
Jeep
family.
Dog.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, you wouldn't believe
The Bronco
amount of
Buck.
suggestions.
I have another song title for you, the Bronco Buck.
No.
I get so many suggestions, and people get indignant about it too.
Uh-huh.
You haven't written my Jeep Dog song yet. I'm like, I'm working on it. Okay? Give me a minute.
Right? Yeah, it doesn't just pour out. Now it's
Yeah.
interesting because I'm listening to a podcast. There's a podcast you guys know I've talked about it before. It's called Acquired.fm, and in the past they're in like their 8th, 9th season. They got deep dives into companies and they did a 3-part series on Berkshire Hathaway and a 2-part series on Standard Oil and stuff. Well, their latest episode I'm listening to is about Taylor Swift. And it's like from the business side of what she did. And it's a 2.5 hour discussion about Taylor Swift and her history. But the drive she had is a whole different thing. But it's interesting from the music business itself, right? And how she had tackled it and being a songwriter. First, she made decent money being a songwriter when she was just a teenager, long before she started actually being accepted for singing. But so from that standpoint, you're obviously fairly new into the business of it. What are you seeing on that business side? How have you been tackling just the business side of being a musician and trying to get it out there? Are you focusing? Obviously you're hyper focusing a little bit on the Jeep community, right? But how are you like distribution and all these other things? How are you just like tackling all that? And are you making any money?
Yeah. So when I was working my 9 to 5, I was listening to a lot of podcasts about music marketing and music business, and just kind of soaking it all in while I was doing my mundane work. And I couldn't go back and regurgitate to you all of the things that stuck out, but I find myself, as I'm working in the business, light bulbs will go off. And like, oh yeah, this so-and-so talked about this. And, one of those hundreds of episodes I listened to. And so I've kind of latched on to certain things that stuck out. And then I see if that will apply to me. One of the biggest things, and it frustrates me because it happened on accident. I try to think and plan and, put my thoughts on a whiteboard or on a big picture plan. And it doesn't always work that way. It's the things that you do on accident that work. And so then you deep dive that. And that's kind of one of the things I kept hearing was niche down, or niche down, however you say it. and find you a sub niche of that niche, and then build you a super fan base as an independent artist, just in that sub niche, and then that's all you need to make money. And I was thinking, who wants to hear these, breakup songs from a 32-year-old, divorced dad, single dad at the time? Like, what's different about my music? And at the time, really wasn't much to differentiate me from the rest of the crowd. And then I wrote Jeep Thang on accident, and I saw, that thing just took off, and I'm like, wow, apparently people like this in the Jeep community. So why not stay in that lane? And so right now I'm massaging that, but I'm also, writing a bunch of other songs. And coming back to your money question, I just got my second royalty check in the mail yesterday from my the first check I got was from Jeep Thang, and it was, gas money. And then I got my check in the mail yesterday from Jeep Girl, and it's gas money for the year. So
wow.
I'm definitely making some money.
That's awesome. That's the
thank
right
you.
way to
It's
go,
awesome.
right? Of course, is that that's Oklahoma gas money, not California gas money.
Exactly.
Yeah,
But I mean, he's working on a small baseball team too.
Right.
So
Nice. That's true.
Give me a
So when do they all learn they all learn instruments and stuff, and you end up having like the Partridge
Here's one
family,
band.
the big van, the big Sprinter van going across country. Although I think you really need to take a school bus and go Partridge family style and just
There you go.
paint it up,
Absolutely. I've seen some pretty cool off-road rigs,
Oh yeah.
made out of school buses. But yeah, I'm trying not to force, daddy's interest on them. So I just kind of, as they want to be involved, I take them with me to the studio or take them with me to shows. They all have their own instruments, of course, but I don't like sit down and force them to play them or anything like that. So I figured we'll just kind of see where their personalities and their interests take them. But it'd be super cool to have a family band at some point.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, that's cool, man. So good. So you're monetizing now. When you say royalty check, is that coming from is that through YouTube or what's the channel that you're getting your royalty checks from?
Good question. So one of those things in the many podcasts that I learned about, and you mentioned this earlier about just our accessibility and ability to, as independent artists, to distribute music. There's a couple platforms out there that exist for that sole purpose, and that's so I can take a finished product, even if it was recorded on my cell phone, and basically upload it to this distribution platform and get it to all these streaming sites like Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, wherever you listen to music at, Amazon. And you can go and create an account with those folks individually. But man, that'd be time consuming. But there's a couple platforms. The one I use is called CD Baby.
I know CD Baby, yeah.
And they do all my collection for me, which is amazing, and distribution. So they'll distribute it to their 150 partners, and then they do all the collection for me. So yeah, that's where that check's coming from, and then eventually I'll see the other side of it coming from my performing rights organization, which is ASCAP. I hear that could take up to 2 years though to start seeing royalties from there.
CD Baby was great because CD Baby got started literally as just a way that independent artists could print their own CDs, and you could upload it, and then somebody could buy a CD. It was kind of CD on demand. Exactly. And then that guy sold off for like $20 million or $20-something million. He sold the place. He was an artist. He was just a creative guy. He built the company out of a need for himself, and crazy dude. Because I've listened to him. He basically donated like 95% of all the money that he got from the sale to some charities. Like he wasn't into it for building a business. He just wanted to have a way for artists like you to be able to distribute better. So cool to hear that it's still like moving on. It's still supporting independent artists.
Yeah, I love the platform and everything that they do. And I could order physical CDs through them, vinyl as well.
Nice.
It's amazing. And that's another thing as an artist, and I'm still kind of getting used to the idea of being a business owner, but it is a business. is there's so
Right.
many avenues, you know, that I can make a living from, and merchandise being one, the royalties, direct downloads, you know, eventually, you know, my fractions of pennies from streaming, but doing live shows, you know, which the Jeep community has been amazing about that, booking me for shows. You know, there's a lot of different avenues to make money as an artist.
That's awesome.
So right now I'm wading through all of that, and then, you know, I'll figure out, you know, which I need to devote more energy to in the
That's
future.
awesome. Well, that is, and it's the thing. You just got to look at the channels and then just put your energy into those that work the best. At this point, with the Jeep community, that's awesome. So now,
Yeah, it's working.
so are you guys going to when's the I just saw something. It's like what's the date for the
It's during
off-road
EJS
family?
weekend.
Yeah. It's,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I know that's poor planning on my part, right?
Well, you should have done it at EJS. Is what you should have done.
You're right.
At
Yeah,
EJS. You know,
maybe next year I'll have another song ready to go.
There
you go.
And but I was looking at my calendar, and it was the only weekend to shoot this thing. So
yeah,
that's why we're having to do it then.
that's
yeah,
okay.
so many people have expressed their displeasure with me doing it during EJS.
I'm sure they did.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. That's totally cool. So, you got your Jeep. Now, what have you done to your Jeep? Have you done anything to it yet?
A whole lot of nothing, because all my money is going toward recording and you know, capital for merchandise, and you know, feeding my family, paying bills and stuff. So,
So from the Jeep Thang song was your pockets are empty, but they're empty for a different reason, not because you just got a set of shocks.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We may have to do something about that.
You know, and I've got a 20-something-year-old Suburban that, you know, I got to keep running too. That's the only thing everybody can fit in right now.
Yeah.
Right.
So the late nights in the shop that line actually came from working on that stupid thing.
So you have what, 5 kids?
I got 5 and 1 on the way. Yeah, man, she's
5
due.
and 1 on the way. Wow. So what ages from what to what?
They are. I got 2 that are 10, and then 7,
Twins?
6, and no, they're not twins. One. I've got 3 from my previous marriage.
Oh, okay.
2 bonus kids. Yeah, and then 1 on the way. Yeah. So they're only a few months apart, the 10-year-olds.
How do they get along?
Oh yeah, they're like instant buddies, you know. And at one time, when my wife and I were dating, my oldest, he said, "Man, I wish we could just live with them." And I'm thinking that could be arranged. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, now they're they get sick of each other, you know, but they play with each other just as much as they fight. So
that's awesome. Cool. So you got
but you know what I did to answer your question about the Jeep? I've been getting some amazing things sent to me that I haven't put on yet, but I've got some. My Jeep's going to look completely different this summer. I'm just kind of stockpiling it right now, and then I didn't want to, you know, go spend money on this and then have to do this, because you guys know when you do one thing, you got to do something else to it to make it work. If you put a lift and bigger tires and wheels, then you're looking at rig gear, and then just the list goes on. So I'm just kind of stockpiling and buying things as I can, and then I'll just do it all at once. Plus all the amazing things that people have sent me, you know, to put on there. Somebody give me some foot pegs that have my logo on them, and then some trail mirrors and trail covers that have the Jeep Thang logo on them, and I've got an awesome grill insert that somebody sent me, 30 Acres. They sent me
that's my
a
friend
grill
Dawn.
insert that has it has a guitar on it. I mean, it's incredible.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Way cool. So all these cool things that people are sending me, I'm like, I'm just gonna wait and put it all on one time, and then my Jeep's gonna look completely different. So that's the plan. That's
cool. So you got to roll it out that way. That'd be awesome. You could take it out to big event, little video stuff. That's cool. Yeah, definitely. I mean, but you've got to take advantage of the social media and do like your build, right? Little pieces at a time, and kind of show it up and tease people on it, right?
Yeah.
I was looking at your reels. Reels are like you guys have any reels yet on ModernJeeper? I haven't noticed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, one of the reels we did was actually from when we were down in Disney with Jeremy on shooting his video.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing the plays that Reels is getting, because like the
Yeah.
Instagram algorithm saying, "Ooh, Reels, push Reels, push Reels."
Yep.
But yeah, it's like.
Yeah,
Although
the
I will
TikTok.
say, you know, I'm wearing the ARS shirt today, right? So we put a on TikTok. Same thing goes on Reels, but of our little hand scanner, because we got one of those hand scanners to be able to do 3D scanning, be able to quickly be able to take in the Jeep and be able to do all the CAD drawings on it, right? TikTok, it's at 70,000 views as of this morning.
Wow.
Man.
70,000 views. Like we went viral on a hand scanner.
That's pretty cool though.
We're gonna take the guys though. We're gonna put them up, all of our employees against the wall, and just like 3D scan them
and scan them.
Yeah, so they'll all be 3D scanned, and then we'll have a whole avatar thing. Then everybody will just be able to talk to each other virtually with headsets. Yeah.
Awesome.
Don't we talk to each other virtually now?
We virtually talk to each other. I don't think we talk to each other virtually.
Right.
I kind of talking to you. Maybe. It's like sometimes it's like, hey, let's talk. This whole thing started years ago, and we used to talk every day on the phone, and then we stopped talking every day on the phone. That's right. Well, you got a girlfriend, and everything just kind of went to hell.
That happens.
Your priorities got straightened out, I guess.
Right.
Man, well, that's cool. So tell us more about this new project, because you've obviously had, Jeep Thang was there, Jeep Girl, this new project, and how many is this kind of usual? Like, was it been like what, 3-4 months? How long has it been since Jeep Girl was done?
1 month.
Oh, it's been 1 month since that. It's been that.
Yeah,
gosh, it
December
seems longer
14th is when that one came out.
So wait,
Yeah,
so
and
1 month from there, did you already have this Off-Road Family one written, or was it just kind of like it was just your next inspiration?
I'm trying to remember the timeline because everything's been a blur right now, so I don't want to lie to you.
Yeah,
I can't remember when I want to say it was. We wrote it maybe just a couple weeks before Jeep Girl came out. I had the idea because everybody was beating me up with, all of their ideas. And yeah, that's kind of where it came from.
Let the creative be the creative. Stop sending him all your ideas. He can just listen to me. It's okay.
Unsolicited, unsolicited ideas sometimes can be, you might get 100 and then one of them is good.
Mm-hmm.
And then you might actually try to churn that out a little bit. But I've had some really good ones given to me that I didn't even have to write down because they are good, and so I've got them, in my head, and plan to work on those in the future as soon as I get done with my list of ideas. But so many people, hey, we need this and that, and I do want to listen, to the community, because if they're asking for something, then I want to give it to them, because that means they're going to download it and they're going to listen to it, and ultimately that supports my goal, which is to be 100% making a living doing what I love. So I thought, what, instead of writing a song for the side-by-side community and writing a song for the Chevy truck community, and the list goes on, I'll write one that's all encompassing. And so that's where the idea for Off-Road Family came about, because we're all essentially out there trying to do the same thing, just have a good time out on the trails, crawling rocks, ripping around on dirt bikes, whatever. We're enjoying the same thing. We got a mode of transportation, and it's taking us out of the big city, to just get out there and have a good time. And it's a massive community, so a lot of lifelong friendships come out of that. So
right.
Then that's the other thing too, is there's so much bickering going on. I know you guys know this in politics amongst the sub communities. That was my other purpose, to maybe hope to bring some folks together with this song. And I even mentioned it in the bridge. We might fight and not always get along, but you're never alone if you got a Jeep or side by side, whatever. Because I can call up anybody I know at any given time in the off-road community and get help. If I'm stuck on a trail, if I'm broke down, if I need help shipping T-shirts, or if I just need encouragement, because I'm down in the dumps or whatever, to come off my, my high from playing a show or whatever. And I'm like, man, should I really even be playing music anymore or whatever? I can give somebody a call and, and they set me straight. So, that's where that song came from. And I'm excited to get it out there. It's actually going to be released on February 16th, which is my birthday.
Nice.
And that's an exclusive tidbit because I haven't told anybody yet.
Exclusive here first on Modern Jeeper.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
First on but yeah, it's going to come out February 16th, and we're going to do that music video in Hot Springs at the Hot Springs Off-Road Park on April 16th. So for people that aren't at EJS and want to get out, they can come join me on that. I'm doing an open call. So we're looking forward to that. But I figured, I'll go ahead and get the music out, and then we'll follow up with the video later. That's what the pros do, right?
Yep.
Right.
I'm just watching what everybody else does, trying to emulate.
Well, it is an interesting thing. It used to be that like when you had MTV and stuff, and that was actually big, right? It was the video that counted. Like that was the big release, the song release with the video. And then when MTV became 95% reality TV shows, then maybe 5% video, it just that kind of died away. But now with YouTube, you got all these, but you have so many different avenues. It's just incredible. You take a creator like you do the song, then you got to do the video. Then I've noticed you not only do the video, but then you do the lyrics video, right? Which is which is different. It's a different video, but it's got the lyrics. I'm like, oh, what are this? This is kind of cool, right? And then you're doing all these. Then you got to do clips of the videos for your TikTok and everything else and all the other. It's like
never ending, man.
It's never ending way of just getting out there. But you've got to do it because that's content is king, and if you can get out there and capture people's attention, right? It's amazing how many artists have been born on TikTok, right? You see more and more country. There's several country artists, country rappers. I mean, it's kind of crazy, but these guys it's just it's the music. I love the music. It doesn't matter anything about the guy or who he is, or he doesn't have the right connections, or he's not on some big station or channel, whatever. He's just got the music, and that's the beauty of this world of democracy that we live in.
Mm-hmm.
You're exactly right. Yeah, the platforms are amazing. You don't have to play the exposure gigs anymore. It's like, well, I can, instead of coming to your gig and playing for nothing, to be exposed to your 200 people there, I can jump on TikTok and be exposed to millions.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Not to say that millions of people are watching my videos, but it's possible.
It'll be there. Well, and that's the beauty. So let's go back to your music a little bit. You've got the Jeep stuff. You're kind of doing the niche thing, and that's cool. And you're with your EP, you'll get some other songs. Now, are these other songs? Because I saw this with Tom McDonald. Is like all of a sudden he kind of started going back to releasing some ones because music generally, I mean, the greatest music songs, the greatest country songs, they're a storytelling, right? And you're generally telling a story about yourself. And I'm sure you've got lots of stories that have their root in pain and heartache and life and live and kids and the whole world. You have more and more stories to tell.
You're exactly right. And I'm starting to introduce those more as I go and play these shows where, I kind of have carte blanche to play what I want. It's not necessarily a cover gig show. So I'm starting to introduce those and get feedback. And it's fun to hear, some people's favorite songs are one of my least favorites or whatever, for whatever reason, but they connect with them. So yeah, I do have a lot of the breakup songs, and I have some corny, cheesy love songs. And then, I've got plenty of songs about being a parent. So those are the ones that I'm looking forward to really, putting out there and showing, a different side of me, if you will. I have a lot of them out on like SoundCloud, and they're literally just guitar vocal demos that I made here in my bedroom. And I put them out. I wanted people to discover them and hear that, oh, he does have other songs rather than just Jeep songs. Because usually that's one of the first questions I get when a venue is looking to book me. Are you just going to play Jeep Thang like over and over again for 2.5 hours? Like, no, I've got other songs.
I got a 2.5 hour version of Jeep Thang. It's going to kind of like it's got a 1 hour guitar riff. We just keep going. You know?
Now I can tell them, no, I'm going to play Jeep Thang and Jeep Girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Me too.
And I have one. Well, I do Jeep Thang, then I do Jeep Girl, then I do this one that's kind of a mix between the two using a sound box. You know, we kind of.
Yeah, there you go. We're going to do the acoustic version, and then I'm going to do one with backing vocals.
It's like the old Grateful Dead songs. It's like you can go. It would be one song would be like 20 minutes. And it wasn't even a song. It's just everybody standing there going, "Whoa," and they're just listening to the beat, going, "I have no idea what they're saying," but it went on 20 minutes, and I'm okay. I think they only played like 3 actual songs in a concert. It was just that each one was 20, 30 minutes long.
It's going to the Freebird concert, and you're like, "Oh Lord."
Get that one a lot. Freebird.
Yeah.
But anyway, you know, I've been sharing a lot of those songs out, and people are really latching on to them. So it's got me thinking, you know, that's the next step. Go ahead and do an EP. And I haven't, you know, I'm kind of like I can only bite off one thing at a time. So just gonna get through, if you will, Off-Road Family, getting that out there, and everything that comes along with it, and then we'll start setting up the crowdfunding for the EP. But I hope to start working on it, you know, before the end of the year. I don't see why I couldn't do that.
Well, you know, with 5 kids, one on the way, you're not busy at all, so don't worry about it. You know,
Lots of free time.
I mean, you know, I got 4, and I have tons of free time when I'm doing my work for the office at 3 o'clock in the morning. You know, so it's just you know, that's awesome.
I've seen the meme so many times. You know, I hated my 9 to 5, so I quit and started a business. Now I work 24/7, and I've probably said that 10 times in the last week because I'm totally finding out.
Yep.
But it's the beauty of it is when you're doing it at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you don't have to answer to anybody. You're just doing it for yourself, right? And there's a love for it.
Like work.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like work when you're doing it because you loved what you're doing. Now, you know, when you have to get up at 6 and actually have, it's a little different, but it's still there. And that's what people don't understand. It's like, even my wife, I love my wife, but she said, well, we should start a business together, like do our own little thing, right? Like, that's good. But I'm like, did I start mapping out the time? Well, no, you shouldn't have to. Yeah, no, there's always something to do. And if you want to be good at it, you just got to do it when it's there, right? People look at Corey and go, oh, look at you, man. You're on your own. You get to travel. You get to do all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, you know, Corey hardly works at all, right? Hardest working guy in the off-road Jeep business right there. So
enough to scare my mother off.
Yeah.
My mother was like, holy crap.
She's like, you guys don't stop. I'm like, no, you don't. You can't. That's not what we all do. And especially for Matson is on the entrepreneur side, and Jeremy, you as a creator, and having you guys also have families too. Like for me, you know, I don't have kids. I vicariously through Jessy's, that's plenty. But you know, you do something you love, and it's a lot of work, but when it's for you and you're enjoying it, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I will say that I didn't see Corey take but maybe one break out on that CTI trailer in Pigeon Forge. I mean, they just kept lining up for him to come get the scores. And I was like, man, this guy, I thought I worked hard.
Well, and it has been at times, it has been a problem. You know, that's why I'm glad that Jessy travels with him, because she keeps him in line. And otherwise, Jessy has been known. Corey has been known to be out. You know, 2 steps from having to go to the emergency room because he just keeps working and working and working and not stopping. And I know what that's like, but Jessy's there to, part of her job, it's in the contract, is to keep him alive.
Yeah. And I do it with a smile, even though people are mad. They're like, okay.
Yeah.
We won't hug you anymore.
That's funny. So yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. So what's any live events coming up that you want to promote?
I've got a few coming up. I think the next big one is I'll be at Lone Star Jeep Invasion in Conroe, Texas, and that's the first weekend of March. And then after that, I'm spending some time in Florida. The Island Off-Road Music it's Island Off-Road Jeep Music Festival, long name. That one's in Riviera Beach, Florida. So I'm looking forward to that. And very next weekend after that, I'll be with Stacy Griffith at Stack Life. She's got Party in the Pasture going on. And then we're in Hot Springs after that. And then back to Florida for Daytona Jeep Beach. Are you guys going to be out there?
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah. Yep.
All right. So we'll get to hang out a little bit.
Do about
there.
150 Jeeps in those 2-3 days, you think?
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, that's a busy event for us. That's probably the biggest Jeep
Imagine.
event that we do.
Yeah.
We'll be
Wow.
giving away shirts out
I've
there
heard
again
about
this year.
that.
Yeah.
So
Man,
That's-
I'm looking forward to it. I hear it's kind of like an oven. You're just baking, but
It can
I'm
get-
looking forward to the
can.
experience.
it
Yeah.
can be. It's beautiful though. It's.
Yeah.
I don't. It's.
Yeah.
I think I've had worse days up in PA.
Yes.
Aubrey's Jeep in Pennsylvania has
Okay.
been worse
Really?
weather than Jeep Beach ever has.
It's
Yes.
hot.
Because it's
Humid.
hot. Jeep Beach can be humid a little bit and stuff, but you're out there. I mean, it's a little bit harder these days now that you're actually on the cement when you're doing the CTI and stuff, as opposed to it used to be just grassy area.
Mhm.
But it's still, PA all breeds. That is the worst weather event. And that's the one you
tough
almost
one.
passed us out too, right? Yeah,
Oh, you're gonna love Jeep Beach. So
yeah, Jeep Beach would be awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Yeah. And then,
Maybe we can do
I
maybe we
really
can do
spent
something
quite a
else
bit-
out there too. Maybe you get some sort of concert or something going on out there, and we can support you like we did.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, do a little venue, get something going. Well, just we'll set up the concert on the CTI trailer.
And then we can use the lifts and we can
Well, he can sit on one lift with his guitar, a little acoustic music,
Yeah.
a speaker
We'll
on
put the
another
band
lift.
on the other one.
Yes.
on the lift. Yeah, right.
I'm sure they'd get a kick out of that.
Oh yeah.
That'd be funny. Cool. Well, so that's just awesome. It's good to finally like face-to-face talk with you too. I mean, one of these days I'll actually
Yeah,
see you on an
likewise.
event, but I actually have to go to an event in order to be able to see anybody at an event and that doesn't happen too often. I think Corey's
I
going to let me
understand
go to
that.
Easter Jeep Safari, but and then,
We'll see.
well, we also need to get you out on one of the Modern Jeeper trips.
There you go.
So
Yeah,
you
that'd be
you got
awesome.
to look at that list, especially when your Jeep's built up. But look at that list, of our events. Go, okay, where are we going to get you? Where are we going to get you? Maybe
Okay.
Death Valley in the fall.
Yeah.
That would be
sounds
fun.
awesome. When is that one?
That's
It's
going to be
November.
be the second week in November, I think.
Yeah, I
right?
don't have it marked on my
Okay.
calendar.
I'm writing it down so I can like pencil that in when I start to like book other dates. So like, that one's
Yeah.
Modern Jeeper weekend.
Yeah, that'll be fun. You
So-
go down and do that one, and in the fall, because like I said, I may make it to Death Valley. Either way, my Jeep's going to be there because Mike is going to drive my truck out, and be out there if I don't make it. So it might be just him and his girlfriend, which would be awesome for him. Right after TDS, because TDS is the week before. Which, by the way, everybody, we will be at TDS. We're going to be out there with the CTI trailer for a couple of days in the parking lot thing that they're doing out there by Jack in the Box. And just to be out there and support and their event, because it's the second year that they've had to do a COVID rules. And so
Right.
next year is going to be the 60th. We got a lot to talk about. This year's the 70th Jeepers Jamboree. There's all kinds of fun stuff happening, but we'll be out there. And then right after that, Death Valley. If you guys haven't registered for Death Valley, if you want to do Death Valley, let me tell you, Corey sent out an email to us, and I think he needs to put that information out to everybody else too. But it's exciting. Like I want to go because it's totally different than any trip we've done before.
Yep.
And this truly is rock landing. You've heard us say this term.
Yeah.
This is like the new term. Okay. Rock landing. We build rock landers. They are off-roaders. They can go run the Rubicon, and they can go out tent out in the middle of the Death Valley and do it all. Well, you better be a rock lander to go on this trip.
Yep.
Because there is some definite rocks there. It's going to be so that this trip, especially the first one, is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, the first trip this year for Death Valley, and the reason we went out to Death Valley after we got done in Vegas was these are areas that I hadn't been to. I'd researched them and I knew where they were, talked to people that had been on them. But these new areas, guys, you want to know what it's like to work on a day off. We pre-ran 2 days in a row of 140 miles each day, just getting ready for us to be able to take this trip from Death Valley. So half sick, 130 miles each day, going through some pretty crazy trails and trying to keep track of everything in your head. Yeah, it's going to be
history
fun.
lessons and mining. There's so much out there.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of what Corey has just become. Like he's become this historian of Death Valley. So
I'm the driver.
When you're out there going on the trip with it, the two of you guys are just doing this. And when you're going out there doing it, like when you're on the trip with them, you're learning. You're not just driving out and seeing stuff. You're learning about the history. And there's a great deal of Death Valley that has impacted California. That's a given. And so if you like California history, it's a great part. But really, it is part of Americana. It truly is a part of Americana because it represents just one little aspect of what was going on across the country at the time, of people really taking the time to I mean, survival was what it was all about. I mean, you weren't just going and like, oh, this is kind of cool. I heard somebody do a joke the other day about how siblings suck because siblings just get to ride on the free tails of the first kid. And so it was, and there's some there's all these people that are the first kids, the firstborns of our country that built what we ride on the free tails of. So, in Death Valley, I think changes your point of view about that and really helps you understand like, holy crap, people were living out here just so they could try to transport something to California. I mean, it's crazy.
Wow.
Well, and I'm a sponge. A shout out to our friend Dale Albright, who will be joining us this trip. He's been wheeling out there for 30, 40 years. And again, we've been going to this park now and every time I go, we see and do something different. So yeah, if you've been holding off, I mean, this is the year. The first trip is going to be much more rock landing than our typical trips. The second trip, we're still going to do something completely different than we typically do. We're still going to go to Cerro Gordo, though. And if you've not seen those videos from the owner up there of Cerro Gordo, Brent's YouTube channel is amazing. He's bought a ghost town and he lives up there, and his recent video is I think 22 months in a ghost town by himself. Cool guy. We're gonna go visit Cerro Gordo.
It's a ghost town. He has ghosts. He has friends.
Oh, there's ghosts there.
Not by himself.
Yeah.
He has pplenty of friends. Talks to people all the time.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, dude, how awesome was that too? I'm just gonna buy this place called Ghost Town, and I'm gonna become a creator and do a bunch of videos on that stuff.
Right.
I mean, you gotta love creative people like that.
And after we go to Cerro Gordo on the second trip, it's going to be completely different. We have a whole nother mountain to go run around on and explore, and it's going to probably take us a couple of days just to do this one trail. So, and
if you go on this trip, you might just be featured in the Modern Jeeper calendar for 2023, just because Corey's in charge of all the photos this year.
That's right.
By the way, the calendar is available on our website at adventureracksystem.com. You can get the calendar, or you can with the Adventure Rack Systems cover, or you can get it at MetalCloak.com. And it's 50% off and free shipping. That's my plug for the day.
Good plug.
Yay.
Thanks. So awesome. Well, we got a lot going on. Jeremy, I hope to see you on Modern Jeeper Adventures. And you just definitely going to get you out there. Everybody go out there, check Jeremy out. It's Jeremy Rowe Music. It's JeremyRowe-music.com. And we will have links in the show notes at ModernJeeper.com or ModernJeeperShow.com of all the stuff we've talked about. So his upcoming events, things to go, places to go, things to do, how to download stuff, how to learn about it. And just get out there and support guys like this, because he could be writing music about anything, and wrote music about Jeeps because it's his passion now, and that's our passion, and that's what we want to hear and to learn about and share about. So thank you guys all for listening. As you know, for usual, you can reach us Matson at MetalCloak.com, Corey at MetalCloak.com, Jessy at MetalCloak.com, ModernJeeper.com. Register for our next coming events at ModernJeeperAdventures.com. Share your ideas at ModernJeeperForum.com, and check out JeremyRowe-music.com. Corey, Jessy, anything you want to add before we end off this another amazing episode?
And just remember, I have the article for Jeep Girl coming out.
Yep.
I did my interview with Jeremy and I had some more insights on him and what Jeep Girl means to all the Jeep girls. So
That's awesome.
it's coming
Cool.
up.
And I'm guessing we're going to see some gold parts on his Jeep pretty soon. So we'll have to make sure we get that figured out.
Most definitely.
Awesome.
Nice. Yep. Well, if he's going to go gold, it's going to be with MetalCloak. And then we'll have the gold record to go right next to it. See?
There you
There
go.
you go.
Ooh.
Well, you don't
I
see
like it.
people showing
All the good
gold
buttons.
records that much anymore. It's always like they've gone platinum. It's like
Platinum.
instantaneously, like boom to platinum, to platinum. I was somebody, now I'm platinum. All right. Cool. Hey, well, thanks again for joining us. Thank you all, Modern Jeepers, for listening to us. And with all that, we'll see you on the trails.
Cheers.
See ya.